Welcome, class, to the Formatting an APA paper lecture. This lecture will help you understand what your papers should look like when you turn them into an education course. This paper follows along with the sample APA writing paper in the course. The paper is called The Pink and the Blue, Separating Myth from Fact and Gender Research. As we go through the paper, you will see annotations that I'll be discussing in the box. We'll start with the title page. This is an example of an appropriately formatted title page. Notice it has the title on the paper, your name, the course number, the professor's name, and the date you're turning the paper in, all bolded, centered, and double-spaced. There's no need for a running header. When you write your APA papers, it's important to double space. It's also important to use headings to break up your sections. These headings make the paper more readable and guide the reader as to what's coming up. When you introduce a heading for the first time in a paper, it's called a first level heading. The word introduction here is a first level heading or a level 1 heading. Level 1 headings are bolded and centered. If we go down to page 2, we'll see another level 1 heading. Now we are out of the introduction, so it's still a level 1 heading. Notice that the number 1 does not mean the first heading. It means, like in an outline, what comes under something else. This does not come under the introduction, so it's another level 1 heading. It is therefore bolded and centered. If we go down a bit, we see another level 1 heading, 2 explanations. But now, going down, we see the words cognitive differences. And we notice that the words are not centered. They're flush left against the left margin. This is how you do a level 2 heading. Level 2 headings come inside of level 1 headings. So this paper introduces the idea that there are 2 explanations for gender differences. One are cognitive differences. This is actually a section inside the 2 explanations. So it is a level 2 heading. It does not get centered. It gets left justified. If we go down a bit more, we see a reference to an appendix. I have bolded this, but you wouldn't bold it in your paper. Do you see the text that reads "See Appendix A"? Appendices are often places to put things that don't quite fit into your paper. They could be photos, they could be other types of objects, they could be side things that you want to talk about but don't really fit into your paper. They're generally not a lot of text. Many times they will be objects. Whatever they are, I'll show you how to put them in later, but when you're referencing them, you should put "See Appendix" and then give the appendix letter name. Towards the end of the paper, we have our final level 1 heading, Conclusion. Let's talk about appendices in more depth. Let's pretend that this paper has 2 appendices. You start to number appendices by letters of the alphabet. So the first appendix is called Appendix A. Appendices require their own little title page before you give them. So you put Appendix A, centered and bolded, in the middle of the page, all on its own. Following that would be the material for Appendix A. So you'll see I just put a note. This would be the information for Appendix A. If there was an Appendix B, you would also need a title page for that. Centered and bolded, you would type Appendix B following the material for Appendix A. It would be on its own page. And again, this would be where the material for Appendix B would be placed. At the very end of your paper comes the reference section. This is where you put all of your source material in. In a later lecture, I'll show you how to do citations and references. For now, just understand this is where the references go. References take up their own page. So you can see that the title of the page is References, and then the references are listed alphabetically. Do not title your page Bibliography, because that is not how you do it in APA. Title this page References. That's it. I hope this information was helpful. If you have questions, please contact your instructor through the course message system.